You're listening to The Practical Wealth Show with Curtis May.
All right. Hey, guys. Welcome to another episode of The Practical Wealth Show. And today's guest, as I'm excited about, is one of the most successful young professionals in real estate. At only 25, Raphael Vargas is the founder, CEO of multi-million-dollar real estate company Ace Equity Pros. But his success didn't come easy. After being robbed, we'll talk about that, was when he first started in the real estate industry at age 21. Raphael put his head down, kept working, and it all paid off when he made $30K on his very first wholesale deal. And in just 3 years, he's created a 7-figure real estate business using his unique business model, which he's going to share with us, hopefully. Raphael and his team now work together to close deal in one of the most competitive markets in the U.S., and they are on track to hit $10 million of annual revenue in 2019. And he's here to share his story and inspire you along your real estate journey to success. Raphael, welcome to the Practical Wealth Show.
Thank you so much. I'm proud to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. So tell them what I didn't tell them.
Well, I'm a doofus. I'm 27 years old, so I'm not 25. I'm 27 years old now. You know, long story short, I'm just blessed by God, right? You know, anybody can get into the position that I'm in right now. Didn't graduate high school, right? I never went to college. I didn't really have a lot of guidance growing up and have a lot of mentors growing up into this business. The one thing that I did have was a lot of resourcefulness of getting the information, practical information in real estate wholesaling, which is what I do. And I scaled a multi-million-dollar real estate wholesaling company that's in multiple different markets, right? So that's what I do is real estate wholesaling. And yes, 2019, our companies are going to be doing over $10 million in annual revenue, all of my companies combined. So I'm super excited about where God has taken me. I'm a man of faith. I'm a man of character. I'm a man of integrity. And that's the most important thing for me, you know, is being a good person and in business so that I can show people, you know, what true leadership is and what you can do with a lot of faith and a lot of hard work.
Absolutely. That's fantastic. So I'm going to start at the basics. Tell them what wholesaling is. How do you define wholesaling?
Yeah, wholesaling is a really, really simple and practical way to get into real estate by flipping houses without any cash or credit, right? So we find a motivated seller, somebody that's a single-family asset, owns a single-family asset. They want to sell that single-family asset, you know, for a discount because they just need to liquidate the asset quickly. And we secure that asset with a contract for $100,000. And then we get that contract, and then we resell that contract to another investor for $120,000, and we make that delta, right? The $20,000 spread. And so we don't actually buy the asset. We just sell that contract to another investor. There's no risk. It's a phenomenal business model, and you can really scale it. We're in 8 different metropolitan markets now, so we've been able to scale it significantly.
Wow. See, that's interesting because I know people that do it here. I'm in Philly. In Philly, I don't know anybody that scaled it like that, which is exciting. Talk to us about scale. I'm going to come back to some of the tactics, but let's talk about scaling from starting with a single property and then scaling it, and, you know, what shifted mentally you go through to do that, you know, what you had to do, how you built your team, that kind of stuff, because that's big deal.
I mean, there's a lot of mental shifts that you obviously have to go through when you're scaling a company. I've read a lot of books. I hired a lot of mentors that helped me scale sales companies, right? So hired a lot of, consultants that, help build Salesforce and rebuilding our sales process so that it's consistent. No lead is left behind. So when we're scaling into multiple markets, we know how many calls one individual acquisition person can take. The team structure is very simple. We send out a lot of marketing. Our marketing people send out marketing to homeowners in these 8 different metropolitan markets, one of them being Philly, which we do a lot of business in Philly, right? Okay. So now homeowners call into our acquisitions floor, and it rings our sales department, right? Our acquisition department. And then our acquisition guys pick up the line, answer those calls, and they make offers to homeowners right there over the phone in 7 minutes to homeowners.
Wow.
If we get the offer, we send them over a DocuSign agreement right there over the phone, an agreement, a contract to purchase right there over the phone. And once we send that contract and they sign it, we then send it to our disposition team, who then has relationships with the investors that market and sell that deal. And then we sell the deal. Our transaction coordinator makes sure that the actual asset goes to closing, deals with the title company, et cetera, gets it to the closing table. There you go. We make money on it. This month we're making over $450,000 in assignment fees, right? So one deal, our average deal size is 17,000. So you can guess how many deals that we're doing on a consistent basis. We have over 50 deals that we're consistently working on.
All the things I always tell my clients, wholesaling, even flipping, is a business, right? And so when I hear good wholesalers, they always talk about marketing, lead generation. And I think that would you agree that the mentality is different than an investor? You're an investor, but really you have a transactional, high volume, high profit business. Isn't that different? Would you say that's a different thought process, and what you're doing is different? That's what I hear. Marketing is major.
Yeah, marketing is absolutely major. So we send out a lot of direct mail, a lot of online advertisement, have a big cold call team, send out RVMs, SMSing, things like, things of that nature. The name of the game is expansion. More calls, more leads, more deals, more conversions, more sales, bigger profits, and scale of the company, right?
While you're scaling, what are the, what they call the KPIs, key performance indicators, that you look at on a daily, weekly basis? Do you look at your database like that, or what are you monitoring?
Yeah, so we have weekly meetings. So we go off a book called Traction, and there's also a book called Scaling Up, written by Gino Wickman and Vern Harnish. Traction and Scaling Up, two different books, and those books have guided me a lot in building my business organization. So we have Monday morning meetings, and there's numbers that we go through, right? Our scorecard is very simple. It's there's simple numbers like revenue, right? Obviously, how much revenue we have, how many deals do we have in assigned that is set to close, dollar amounts in assigned set to close for the month, how much we have in deals that need to be sold, what's the profit margin of deals that need to be sold, projected deals, what is the conversion rate of leads to actual conversion of contracts, what is the actual profitability and close rate of the contracts to actually going to closing, because not every contract that you get actually goes to closing. So those are some really, really key KPIs that we look at. And so we just want to make sure that our sales teams are performing, and we want to make sure that the marketing is also performing. Key P&L statement indicators that we watch are marketing has to be below 20%, right? So if we make $100,000, our marketing can't be over $20,000. Our labor costs cannot be over 30%. So salaries, commissions, et cetera, we can't pay over 30%. I'm watching them on a consistent bi-weekly and monthly basis, making sure that those P&L statements, our P&Ls are staying consistent. So we ensure that our company is running at a 35% profitability consistently. Right. So this is very important for us, and to stay at that consistent profitability. So we're netting over 7 figures in a yearly basis. Right. Very important for us. And so, so we have, 30% on labor costs, under 20% on marketing costs, and then G&A, which is our rent, our phone systems, our CRM costs, our, IT, whatever, that is under 15%. And so 15, 30, 20, and you run a 35% net profitability company. And typically we run even leaner than that. So those are just kind of like, can't go below those, or above those profitability. So that's like the P&L numbers that we watch all the time.
See, I wish I could hear how he knows his numbers, folks. That's what gets measured, gets done. And so everybody's in the arithmetic business, okay? And you've got to know that. I don't know if you were measuring that, because I have a lot of people that don't have teams but are doing that. So how would you advise them to basically, I guess, take notes and track the same stuff? And then he gave you 2 books to read if you want to grow up beyond that. But what were you doing that initially? Like tracking your numbers? Were you just out stumbling around looking for deals? Or did you really, learn to get that intentional about it when you were by yourself?
No, I mean, obviously when you get to scale your business, that's when you start running your KPIs. That's when you want to start understanding your KPI numbers and things of that nature. So no, absolutely not. When I was in my mother's basement, broke as a joke, watching her work 2 jobs and go to college and looking at my mentally disabled brother, left at home for hours and hours on end. Like, no, I wasn't thinking about KPIs. I was thinking about the next deal, closing the next deal. So once I started closing my deals and funding my family, which now I'm retired, my mother, take care of my family, after that, that's when I said, hey, how can I scale my company up? And at that point, that's when I had to read and learn and understand how to, have a foundation and the core foundation of my business, which are based off of your KPIs.
Right. So let's talk about your business a little bit. So you have some intense team as you build your team, because business is a team sport. So talk about your team training methods and why they're so effective.
I think the training that we have is extremely effective because what we do is we have the scalability that we can open up multiple markets, right? So homeowners call us, and a lot of investors have to go out and meet with homeowners individually, and we don't do that, right? We lock up deals right over the phone. So because it's easy to lock up deals over the phone, quick, simple, make offers, evaluate properties right over the phone because we have MLS access in all these markets that we're in, it's really easy. It's really easy to scale. I can open up any market I want if I know exactly how to run comps. Single family is the single family. I mean, I do commercial business as well. I own commercial assets, things like that. But single family is so simple. It's a very simple business. Our clients are our investors. All I care about are what investors are buying this asset for in a 1 mile vicinity, 1 mile radius, or in a particular neighborhood. That's how we formulate our offers. That's how we make offers to homeowners. If they agree, we send them a DocuSign and boom, that's it. That's why our process is so different. That is why we are successful. That is why we are able to scale. And I teach a lot of investors this. I have clients now that I taught 2-3 years ago, that are doing millions of dollars in revenue now in wholesaling because they adapted to our model that we taught them. And so I teach hundreds and hundreds of people throughout the country exactly what we do. And, so that has been our biggest success.
So you say, what are you willing to do that, maybe, I don't know if it's a variation of the same question, that no one else is willing to do, why you all feel like you dominate markets that you go into?
What we're not willing to do?
What nobody else is not willing to do. What are you doing that other wholesalers, other businesses aren't willing to do?
There's a lot of wholesalers that ain't really, they get a couple deals and they're comfortable. I'm never comfortable, man. I'm always the smallest fish in the room. I don't put myself. The only time I put myself in positions where I'm the biggest fish in the room is when people are trying to learn from me and I'm pouring into them and I'm giving them. Right. But I'm never involved in a room where I'm the smallest fish in the room. Right. Ever. Like, I'm not hanging out with people where I'm the smallest fish in the room. I was literally this weekend, I was in Jacksonville in a mansion, 15,000 square foot mansion with 5 individuals. One guy that runs a $100 million education company, right? He owns 7 private jets. He's owned 7 private jets in his life. I'm 27 years old. He's 70, right? Second guy owns a $275 million multifamily portfolio. He's liquid over $35 million. His net worth is probably about $60-70 million. Right. Third guy flipped over $500 million in single family assets. Right. He's got a net worth of probably over $50 million. Fourth guy runs a $50 million real estate education company as well, where I'm learning how to scale my education company as well. And so, like, I'm never the smallest fish in the room. I'm always the smallest fish in the room. Yeah. And so a lot of these wholesalers, they're not willing to do that. They're not willing to really elevate themselves. They don't understand how to attract high-level relationships, and that is what I do consistently. They're not willing to read and understand the scaling of a company. They're not willing to invest in themselves. I invest over $250,000, $300,000 a year in my own education, in my own consulting for other people. I hire consultants consistently. So I'm always involving myself, and I'm never the biggest fish in the room unless I'm pouring into other people. And so I live by that principle, and that's the principle I live by.
That's everything. I tell people, look, your number one asset is you. And so you have to invest in your mindset, your skill set, and your network. And your number one investment is your business, right? And so because you've invested in your number one asset, that is why your business is growing. Because you know more, you've expanded your capacity, and I always tell people, look, if you're the smartest person in your group, you need a new group. And you always got to get it around bigger brains. One of the things you talk about that's near and dear to my heart that has really helped my business, because I've been a nut about CRM since the late 80s. I had to show my age now. But tell them how the importance of, because see, I know a lot of people in real estate don't get that you need to track your leads. Your list, your business is your list. Talk to them about the importance of using a good CRM.
Extremely important, right? Because, leads come into your system. You want to automatically track what marketing campaign they came from so you can understand the success of those campaigns. You want to make sure that the leads that are coming in are also going into your system properly so that you have a place to store all your leads, to follow up with your leads, to track the KPIs again, like you said. So it's very important. You know, we use Podio as of now, but I'm building my own custom CRM right now that should be done in the next 2 months, building my custom CRM. And so, you know, you got to have a CRM, without a doubt, got to have one.
Even if I'm new, I'm little, when I meet people, I got to put those names somewhere.
Absolutely.
You know, the buyers, the business partners, you know, whoever, everybody I meet, I put them in a CRM and classify them so that you know how to do. Because you gotta, like, even when you're networking, I tell people you're networking to form strategic alliances mostly. And how can you be of service to other people? You know, so you lead with how you can help them, not necessarily what you need. And then so you give first. How do you incentivize your team? So you got a pretty big team. How do you keep your team together? And then how do you incentivize them to, you know, stay with you and grow together?
Oh, man, incentivize our teams to grow together. I mean, obviously compensation, you know, we have salaried employees plus commission employees, so they get both. So they have that consistency of their salary, but they're also on commission as well. So, but the way we incentivize, we just have an awesome culture. We have a 5,000 square foot office. It's super cool. It's super dope. We have our mission statements on the walls. We have, you know, cool pictures all over the place. We have like goals that we hit, a weekly goal that we hit. They get to spin the wheel. We have quarterly goals that if we hit our quarterly goals, you know, we go and do a cool trip somewhere. Like, I mean, the culture here is super cool, man. And everyone is working extremely hard. And I think it all starts with the leadership, right? It starts with me. I come into the office early in the morning. I leave late as hell. They know I work 17, 18-hour days sometimes, you know what I mean, where I'm working consistently. And so I've developed a hard work culture in my office, and it's very quick. And like, you know, anybody that comes into our business and that is not to that degree of hard work, I mean, they get spit out very, very quickly. So we've developed a strong culture of extreme hard work and extreme fun. Because that's how life should be, right? I work extremely hard so I can have an amazing life. I have a Lamborghini Aventador. I love driving fast, right? I love spending time in a 15,000 square foot mansion with high-level individuals and doing video recordings and shoots and all this fun stuff. I love traveling to Colombia like I did. I love the fact that I just retired my mother and I can take her wherever I want and pay for vacations for her. And dude, it's hard work, but it's so fun, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's if you love it, it ain't work. And then if you focus on the outcome, the results, because you're building a life you're enjoying your money. I like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And what the hell are you working for otherwise is to travel to, you know, and so you're fly. So it's like, okay, I want a Lamborghini while I'm young, and Lamborghini is good for something.
Yeah.
So that's good stuff. So take me back, because a lot of people would have quit then. When you first started, you gave somebody, which shows even when you didn't have it, you gave your last penny dollars to somebody to help you, and they robbed you. Tell them that story. I think that's really telling.
I mean, dude, look, at the end of the day, you have to go all the way in, you know, and I believed in myself so much that I sold all of my, you know, I was dead broke, and I had like $2,000 left in my name. And this guy was like, hey, I'll teach you real estate wholesaling. But I was so desperate, and I was ready to take huge risks on myself. And that's what I did. Right. I paid this guy $2,000, and I had to sell a lot of my music equipment. I had to, you know, take all the cash that I had. I mean, I was broke. I was working a 13-hour job, you know, $2,000 for that kind of person is a lot of money. I paid this guy literally all my money. I went all the way in, and guess what? He robbed me. You know, he didn't teach me anything, which I'm grateful to God for having that experience, because if that didn't happen, it wouldn't have taught me resourcefulness. God took away and stripped away of me of everything that I was dependent on, so that I can rely on God, most importantly, and then also teach me how to be resourceful. He wanted me to really be resourceful, to take nothing and make it into something, right? To use the tools that I had, even though I didn't have money, and turn that into something. And that's what I was able to do. I was able to build relationships with other investors, get free lists, get free numbers, so I can cold call, and make a deal happen and be resourceful in getting that deal. Now I know, hey, if you want success quickly, the best way is just hire mentors that are exactly where you want to be, and have them teach you exactly what they do. And it's that simple. You know what I mean? It's really that simple.
Right.
So, you know, it's that easy. I mean, now, there's so many mentors and gurus out there. You really want to bet the right ones because, some of them are not the right fit. But, that's the kind of people that you want to be around. And that's what you want to do to yourself. People are scared to invest in themselves, but then they don't deserve to be successful. If you're not willing to invest in yourself and invest in a mentor to teach you, you don't deserve to be successful. You should go work at McDonald's or go work at Wendy's or go get a job somewhere else. Because if you're not willing to, the people that take big risks and believe in themselves are the people that do big things and great things. Yeah. So you don't deserve to be successful. You don't deserve to be an entrepreneur if you're not willing to take risks on yourself and bet on yourself. Because if you're not willing to do that on yourself, no one else is willing to do that for you. So you can't be a leader. You can't be a leader. You can't.
Glad you're saying it, not me saying it all the time. So that's fantastic. Tell me what your vision is for your business, where you see yourself in the next, let's say, 36 months or so. How do you see the market for what you're doing, and what would you say is your next level, your next step is?
My next thing is I'm in real estate development. That's my main focus, right? That's where real wealth is built, right? Wholesaling is great. I mean, wholesaling is absolutely great. I love the business. Get a lot of cash, build a cash flowing business based on the way that I've built it. It's not a transactional business now. It's now a predictable business, right? Yeah. The way that I've built it, right? So once you get to that point, now I'm investing my cash in commercial assets and in commercial development, self-storage development, multifamily, right? So that is my main focus. That is my main concern. That's the next thing in the next 5 years. My goal in the next 5 years is to be worth over, 200 million. I want to be worth over 200 million and really give back to the degree that I know God wants me to. I want to give millions and millions and tens of millions of dollars away annually. I want to be able to help, hundreds of thousands of families. I want to be creating millions of leaders. So, that's my goal. And the only way to do that is by going big and by becoming extremely wealthy. And so self-storage development, multifamily development, those are my main priorities and focuses while scaling my wholesale company to a $50 million revenue business consistently.
I love that. See, one of the things I want you to hear is that he's got a business that's making money. See, one of the things that I see, if you look at the Forbes 400, they build businesses and then they buy real estate or like in a combination, but you take the profits from his very profitable wholesaling business and now he's developing assets that will generate cash flow, education business that generates cash flow, and all of that and he's focused on a vision bigger than him, which is helping other people. Because if, as Zig says, you help enough people get what they want, you'll get what you want. And so it's focused on helping create others. So that's an awesome thing, man. Tell them about your education program. Are you still doing that? Is it a course? Do you do live events? Tell me how somebody can reach out to you. How can they best be involved with you?
Yeah. Go to my website, realempire.com, It'll be in the show notes, I'm sure. If you go to realempire.com, you'll see all the details of exactly how to scale and grow and start building a real estate wholesaling company. So I do live events and I do events for 3 days. Last event, we had over 250 people in a room learning and teaching them about how to scale their real estate wholesaling company. This time we have another event, June 28th. We're going to have over 400 people in that room. It's going to be absolutely incredible. So super excited about where our education space is going. We're creating a lot of millionaires just by teaching them how to scale their wholesale company. We have courses that we, video courses to show the newer people that have no idea what wholesaling is, how they can get started to do their first deal. And then we have more advanced courses for people that are doing, $50,000 a month, $20,000 a month, $100,000 a month, how to scale that to $400,000 a month, $500,000 a month, and on a consistent basis. What numbers are we tracking? How to track and manage your team overall. So that's what we're doing, man.
Yeah. So we'll have all of his contact information, show notes of, his email, websites, his on LinkedIn, Twitter, everything. As I'm looking here. So
Instagram. Follow me on Instagram because I do a lot. I'm very active on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram.
Tell them what that is. Just say
that's at real Raphael Vargas, REAL Raphael, RAPHAEL Vargas.
All right.
Real Raphael Vargas.
Follow him on Instagram, everybody. I want you to take us home. Give us a couple of either things you're reading or a word of advice for people that are out there, have a vision for what they want to do with their business, but also their real estate business. what was some words of wisdom for you?
Look, man, my only words of wisdom is, your own vision is less important than God's vision for you, right? Because in my opinion, I had a vision that I wanted to be a music producer. I had a vision I wanted to be a music producer, be on the road, be in the hip hop industry, et cetera, et cetera. That was my vision for me. And I hard pursued that. But you know what? God's vision for me was much bigger than my own vision for myself. It was much bigger. It was much better. And I'm so happy that I got in alignment with what God and the universe's vision for me was, why I was here breathing. What were my gifts? And I started understanding what my gifts were, developing them, developing my leadership. And look at me now. God's vision for me is incredible. And it's more incredible than your own vision for yourself. So the only words of wisdom I would leave with is, if you don't know what to do with your life, you don't have guidance, you don't know exactly the path for you. Maybe it's real estate, maybe it's not. The most important thing that you have to do is be deep in prayer, get in alignment with your spirit, get in alignment with your soul, get in alignment with God, and understand exactly, hey, what is it that God has me here doing? You're breathing for a reason. You're alive for a reason. You were born for a reason. Your whole main purpose is finding out what that reason is. Two of the best days of your life are, one, the day you were born, and then the second one is the day you understood why you were born. Those are the two best and most important times of your life: the day you were born and the day you understood why you were born. And so our main focus in life is to understand exactly why you were born. And I think the reason why I'm so successful and I'm here standing today, I'm so confident about where I'm going, who I am, is because I am very confident about my vision and God's plan for me in my life. And so I move with purpose. I move in direction. I don't waste time. I surround myself with people that align to my vision. Because I'm on path with my vision, amazing things just start happening in my life. And you just keep thanking God for them, because you're in alignment. So that's my biggest focus. That's my biggest takeaway in words of wisdom for your listeners.
Listen, I have nothing to say after that. Raphael Vargas, everybody, CEO and founder of Ace Equity Pros. We're going to put his information in the show notes. Make sure you hit him up, follow him, because this brother is going to drop some science on you and take you where you want to go. Okay, if you're in touch, you can hear it in his voice, hear his passion. So, and that is fantastic. So, folks, here, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Practical Wealth Show. And make sure that you share this with your friends, because he's got a great message that needs to get out. And I'm honored to have him on the show. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks for listening to Practical Wealth. To access the show notes and resources, go to practicalwealthshow.com. To get your questions on the show, go to practicalwealthshow.com. This show is for entertainment purposes only. Before you make any investment decisions, consult a professional. This show is copyrighted by Practical Wealth. Written permission must be granted before syndication or rebroadcasting.